Beneath the surface of a vast prehistoric sea, something is moving. Not along the sea floor, not near the surface, in the darkness between the two. It weighs 14 tons. It stretches longer than a city bus, and it has not eaten in 3 days. It does not need to rush. Nothing in this ocean can stop it. For decades, we thought we understood this animal. We put it in museums. We drew it in textbooks. We gave it a name and a place in the hierarchy of prehistoric life. But recent discoveries have completely rewritten what we thought we knew. The Mosasaur was not just a marine predator. It was an engineering solution, a biological answer to a very specific problem that the Cretaceous Ocean created, and then spent millions of years perfecting. To understand how, we need to go back 80 million years to a world that no longer exists, a world where the continent you are standing on right now was underwater. "80 million years ago, North America did not exist as we know it. The continent had been torn in half. A vast, shallow body of warm water stretched from what is now the Arctic Ocean all the way south to the Gulf of Mexico. Scientists call it the Western Interior Seaway. And it was not the barren deep-sea abyss you might imagine. It was shallow enough for sunlight to penetrate all the way to the sea floor. That single fact changed everything. Sunlight at the bottom meant photosynthesis at every depth. Photosynthesis meant plankton. Plankton meant the beginning of a food chain of staggering proportions. Vast schools of silverfish, intricate coiled ammonites, massive marine turtles, long-necked plesiosaurs cutting silently through the water column. This was not a quiet ocean. This was a warm, hyper-productive marine engine running at full capacity. But nature abhors a vacuum. All of that life, all of that accumulated, concentrated biological energy created an opening at the very top of the food chain. The ocean did not simply allow an apex predator to exist. It demanded one, and evolution answered. To understand the Mosasaur, you have to understand one fundamental principle. An animal weighing 14 tons cannot afford inefficiency. Every system in its body was shaped by one relentless pressure, the cost of being large. We begin with the skull. The Mosasaur did not chew its food. It could not afford to. Chewing requires time, and time in open water is exposure. Instead, its skull was built around a single, devastating purpose: to swallow. It possessed a double-hinged jaw, similar in structure to modern snakes, capable of unhinging to accommodate prey far larger than its own head. But the jaw itself was only the beginning. Hidden deeper inside the palate was a second set of teeth, the pterygoid teeth. These inner teeth curved backward. Once the primary jaws had closed around prey, the pterygoid teeth engaged like a biological conveyor belt, ratcheting struggling animals steadily down the throat with mechanical precision. There was no reversing this process. Once the Mosasaur's jaws had closed, escape was not merely unlikely. Mechanically, it was impossible. Now, consider how it moved. For most of the 20th century, paleontologists believed the Mosasaur swam by undulating its entire body, the way an eel does, a sinuous, wave-like motion from head to tail. We now know this is wrong. Fossil impressions recovered over the last 2 decades reveal something far more sophisticated. The Mosasaur had a stiff, streamlined body and a powerful, crescent-shaped tail fluke, not unlike the tail of a modern great white shark. This design is not built for cruising. It is built for acceleration. Explosive, sudden, terrifying bursts of speed from a standing start. And the Mosasaur used this precisely. It would position itself in the darker, deeper water below its prey, using the shadow of the deep as cover, and then launch vertically. A 14-ton animal accelerating upward from the darkness. By the time its prey detected the movement, the distance was already gone. No predator exists in isolation. To understand the Mosasaur fully, we have to understand the world it hunted in. And the Western Interior Seaway was not a simple hierarchy. It was a contested ecosystem, brutal, layered, unforgiving. The Mosasaur's primary prey included Tylosaurus, a close relative, itself reaching 10 meters in length, a predator in its own right. When the Mosasaur hunted Tylosaurus, fossil evidence suggests a precise strategy, not a direct confrontation. Instead, targeting the flippers first. A marine animal without its flippers cannot maneuver, cannot escape, cannot defend. Immobilize the locomotion, and the kill becomes inevitable. The long-necked plesiosaurs were also abundant in the seaway, graceful animals built for endurance rather than speed. Against the Mosasaur's explosive acceleration, endurance was not enough. But here is where the story becomes more complicated. The Mosasaur was not the only apex predator in these waters. Meet Cretoxyrhina mantelli. Nicknamed the Ginsu Shark, after the kitchen knife brand for the way it sliced through its prey, Cretoxyrhina reached 7 meters in length, longer than a modern great white, armed with large, razor-sharp, smooth-edged teeth designed not to grip, but to slice. Evidence suggests Cretoxyrhina fed on mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, and even the giant bony fish Xiphactinus, itself a fierce predator. And the fossil record does not leave this to speculation. Mosasaur bones have been found with bite marks and embedded Cretoxyrhina teeth, partially digested bones, severed bones, and perhaps most remarkably, Mosasaur vertebrae preserved as stomach contents inside Cretoxyrhina remains. The shark did not just attack the Mosasaur, it ate it. This was not a simple food chain. This was two apex predators sharing the same water, each capable of killing the other, each carrying the fossil evidence of their encounters embedded in their own bones. A contested throne, held by whichever animal was larger, faster, and more prepared on any given day. And then, just when we thought we had fully mapped this world, a discovery made in 2025 changed the picture entirely. Paleontologists unearthed a 66-million-year-old mosasaur tooth in the Hell Creek Formation in North Dakota. Analysis of isotopes within the tooth's enamel revealed oxygen and strontium signatures associated with freshwater environments, suggesting this mosasaur was living and hunting in rivers, not just the open sea. The mosasaur was not confined to the ocean. In its final chapter, it had moved into the rivers, hunting alongside dinosaurs, alongside crocodiles. An animal we thought we knew, revealing at the very end that it was stranger and more adaptable than anyone had imagined. No amount of biological perfection is permanent. 66 million years ago, everything changed. A rock approximately the size of Mount Everest struck the Yucatan Peninsula at roughly 20 kilometers per second. The immediate shock wave was catastrophic. The surface of the oceans boiled. The coastlines of entire continents were reshaped in minutes. But the immediate destruction was not what killed the mosasaur. What killed it was what came after. The impact threw billions of tons of debris into the upper atmosphere. The ash spread, the sky darkened, and stayed dark for months, for years. Without sunlight, the phytoplankton died. Without phytoplankton, the base of the entire food chain collapsed. The ammonites starved. The fish populations crashed. The marine turtles disappeared. And the Mosasaur, the apex of an ecosystem 60 million years in the making, simply ran out of fuel. Not because it was weak, not because it failed, but because the engine that had built it, sustained it, and demanded its existence had been switched off. In geological terms, it was over almost instantly. In human terms, it took thousands of years of slow, inevitable darkness. Today, the Western Interior Seaway is gone. Where warm, predator-filled water once stretched from pole to equator, there are now the dry plains of Kansas and South Dakota. Cornfields, highways, quiet towns under open skies. And somewhere beneath all of it, beneath the topsoil and the bedrock and the accumulated weight of 66 million years, the bones of these animals are still waiting, silently, patiently, to be found. They are a permanent record of what this planet is capable of producing when given enough time, enough pressure, and enough life. They are a reminder that the world we inhabit is not the only world this planet has built. And they are a question, asked quietly by every fossil ever pulled from the ground. What else is down here? What else haven't we found? What else are we still getting wrong? The Cretaceous ocean built the ultimate apex predator, and then erased it so completely that we are still, 66 million years later, piecing together exactly what it was. That should tell us something about the ocean, about evolution, about how much of this story we are still only beginning to understand.